بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our study of مفاتيح الحياة by Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli Hafadahullah, and in this session we continue the discussion about social engagements, and our topic is youths, how to behave and interact with the youths. For sure, the youths are a very important part of the community, and future of every community depends to a great extent on the youths. So Islam attaches great importance to proper upbringing, education, and other aspects of life for the youths. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam told Abu Ja'far al-Ahwal that you have come back from Basra. He said, yes. كيف رأيت مصارعة الناس إلى هذا الأمر ودخولهم فيه? How did you find the response of people about this effort, this imamah, and the speed in accepting? He said, والله إنهم لقليل ولقد فعلوا وإن ذلك لقليل. He said, by Allah, very little. The response is very poor. People who have accepted are very little in number, and he was not satisfied. Imam alayhi salam told him, عليك بالأحداث فإنهم أسرع إلى كل خير. Be more attentive with the youths, those who are in early stage of their life, because they are faster to any good, anything good. So there are 2 points here. One is that for tabligh, for education, we should invest on the youths, not forgetting other parts of the society, but especially the youths. If you want to have a bright future, if you want to make sure that the society in future will be going to the right direction, so a priority is to work with the youth. But the second point is that in general, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, إنهم أسرع إلى كل خير, in everything which is good. If you want to work for charity, for peace, I don't know, for environment, for spreading virtues, for looking after needs of the community, these are the first people to respond. This is in Al-Kafi. Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam has a very beautiful and wise advice here about how to consult. For example, we want to do something for our community, I don't know, for our business, for our personal growth, whatever, but especially anything which is social. The summary of the advice of Imam Ali, before I read the text, is that first you consult the youths, because they are maybe able to think about new things, new ways. They are not attached to any particular maybe a style or any particular, for example, custom. They are maybe more aware of what is happening right now. Consult them. And when you get ideas from them, then consult the elder members of the community, those who are older and more experienced. They can tell you which of these ideas can work, which cannot work, what difficulties you might face, and if you decide to do this, how to prepare yourself. The youths maybe not see this side, and those who are older, maybe they don't see that side. This is very beautiful advice. Let us see the exact text of hadith. Amir al-Mu'minin said, and this is narrated in the commentary of Nahj al-Balagha by Ibn Abil Hadid. إذا احتجت إلى المشورة في أمر قد طرأ عليك, if you need to do mashwara, to consult in something that has happened to you, فاستبدأ ببداية الشبان فإنهم أحد أذهانا وأسرع حدثا. First start with the youths, because they are sharper in their mind and they are faster in guessing. It must be hadsan, but here it is written hadasan. It must be hadsan, means their guessing is faster. ثم رده بعد ذلك إلى رأي الكحول والشيوخ. After that, the result of that consultation, send it to the people who have aged, who are old, who have experience. Al-kuhul wash-shuyukh means those who are old. ليستعقبوه ويحسن الاختيار له فإن تجربتهم أكثر. If you after that share it with the people who are older, then they can see, is this going to have good end or not, going to bear fruit or not, what challenges can come on your way, what things you need to prepare. And maybe, for example, something looks good, but then would say, no, it's not practical. Or maybe they say, we have tried this before. Unfortunately, many times we lose the balance, and either we only listen to the elderly members of the community or only to the youths. Or for example, we think that if we want to benefit from the ideas of the youths, we have to give them all the responsibility and overwhelm them with the responsibility. For a young person, it's very difficult even to understand what he should do for his personal life. Then what about the community? Running a community needs knowledge, needs experience, needs comprehensiveness. So we need scholars, we need elderly members of community to be on board, but also we need the youths to be on board. So we need to bring all together. But how to divide the tasks for doing things or for making policies, making decisions, all of them have different situations. When it comes to making decisions, this is what Amir al-Mu'minin says. When it comes to adopting and developing policies, this is what Amir al-Mu'minin says. That in our counseling team, we have to have young people. Maybe they can draft a proposal, and then we would have comments by the elderly members, and then the leadership can decide and choose something which has the advantage of meeting both groups' opinions and interests. One of the things that Ayatollah Jawadi Amuri mentions here is that we need to bring the youths who are qualified to activities and positions and responsibilities which are suitable for them. Mus'ab ibn Umair was a young person who was living with his parents, and they were very well off. He had a very comfortable life. They loved him very much. They even preferred him over other children that they had. But when he embraced Islam, the parents became somehow, hostile towards him, somehow against him. And therefore, he had to live with Rasulullah in Sheikh Abi Talib, and there was sanction on Muslims. He had to live there in a very difficult life. He was not used to it. And it is said that even his appearance had changed because of maybe hunger and drink and, very difficult life condition. Then As'ad ibn Zurara wa Dhakawan ibn Qais, who had gone for Umrah to Mecca, they met the Prophet and became Muslim. Umrah was there before Islam, because this is a continuity of the tradition of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So they became Muslim, and they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to send someone to Medina to teach them Islam. And Rasulullah sent Mus'ab, who had learned Quran very well, to Medina. And he went with them and left Mecca. And many people, many youths actually, were guided by him in Medina. Because, at that time, of course, was Yathrib. It still was not Medina. Islam was not known that much to them. So even someone like Mus'ab, who was young but had a good grasp of the Quran, was able to function very well. The next heading is that when it comes to the youths, it's very important to let them have proper education, proper understanding, knowledge, ma'rifah, orientation as early as possible, because other cultures, other traditions, other socio-political parties, they may target them because they are interested in our youths. So before they manage to take control of their minds and hearts, we should let them grow in their understanding of themselves and their faith and become strong. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, بادروا أحداثكم بالحديث قبل أن تسبقكم إليهم المرجئة. Murji'ites, they call it in English, were a group of people who had false ideas. For example, one of the ideas of the Murji'ah was that if you have Iman, bad actions are not going to harm at all, or for example, we leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to judge. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, before Murji'ites precede you, you should go and teach hadith to your youths. They should learn the hadith, they should learn the teachings of Islam and Ahlul Bayt before those sects manage to approach them and shape their mentality. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, in his letter to Imam Hassan alayhi salam, said, وَإِنَّمَا قَلْبُ الْحَدَثِ كَالْأَرْضِ الْخَالِيَةِ مَا أُلْقِيَ فِيهَا مِنْ شَيْءٍ قَبِلَتْهُ فَبَادَرْتُكَ بِالْأَدَبِ قَبْلَ أَنْ يَقْسُوَ قَلْبُكَ. This is Nahj al-Balagha, letter 31. Amir al-Mu'minin says to Imam Hassan alayhi salam, the heart of young people is like the land which is not yet cultivated, it's not yet used for farming, it's khalim, it's empty. Whatever is put in this land, whatever seed is put in this land, it will grow, because it is still fresh, still unused. So if a young person with this freshness, with this innocence that they have, with this novelty that they have, if they receive good information and good orientation, then they will keep it, and maybe this remains with them forever. فَبَادَرْتُكَ, Amir al-Mu'minin says, so I decided to take the initiative and start earlier in teaching you adab. فَبَادَرْتُكَ بِالْأَدَبِ, to teach you the manners and to train you. قَبْلَ أَنْ يَقْسُوَ قَلْبُكَ, before your heart becomes hard and loses that freshness that the heart of a young person has. Another heading is that it's good to teach our youths the skill of debating and arguing. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam said, Muru al-ahdatha bil-mira'i wal-jadal. Ibn Abi al-Hadid in his Sharh Nahj al-Balagha, in comment on Nahj al-Balagha, says this from Amir al-Mu'minin. Ask your youngsters to learn how to debate, how to argue. Of course, they should know that this should be at the service of the truth, not in order to prove themselves, but they need to have these skills so that if people discuss with them, especially those who want to challenge them, they can be strong and they can use logic and argument as a means to support the truth. The next thing is to encourage the youths to marry. Unfortunately, now we have a phenomenon in our community, in many places in the world, which is somehow coming to us from modern culture, but still it's not acceptable. We cannot say because this is everywhere in the world, so it's fine. No, it's not Islamic. And that is, people are hesitant to marry. Of course, our girls, they have more difficult time because the proposal normally comes from the side of the boy, which is not very much needed, and Islamically, we can have proposal from both sides, and also it's good if neutral people can take the initiative and introduce these people to each other. But in any case, what happens is that now the girls have difficulty in marrying, even if they want to marry, although some of them unfortunately delay unnecessarily, and then it becomes more difficult, the choice becomes more limited, the expectations because of education and other things may go higher. But there are boys that are mature, have good understanding, they are able to undertake responsibility, they have many times good education, sometimes they have good job, stability, I'm not saying you have to wait for all these things to happen, but there are people who have all these, but still they are hesitant to marry. Marriage for them is not a priority. Some of them, maybe they have tried, it didn't work out. I don't want to, put question mark on anyone, but I'm saying, I'm sure there are people that unfortunately have not taken this as a priority. For us, marriage is a priority. Even if you think you don't need it, still you have to marry, because this is the sunnah of the Prophet. This is a way to help our community to grow. This is a way to take care of another person and be helpful in that person's journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a way to have good children. So even if you think you are not under any pressure and you don't need to get married, still, if you are able, you should marry. So one heading that Ayatollah Jawadi puts here is to encourage the youths to marry. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, أتى رسول الله شاب من الأنصار فشكى إليه الحاجة. One young person from Ansar, from people of Medina, went to the Prophet and made a complaint about some issue. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him, تزوج, you should get married. He didn't get married, and then next time when he wanted to go and talk to the Prophet, he said, people, I am embarrassed because I didn't marry, and Rasulullah had given me this advice. So a man from Ansar went to him and said, I have a beautiful daughter, inna li bintan wasima fazawwajaha iya, and married his daughter to this man. It was not a problem if someone says, I have a good daughter and I want to marry my daughter to your son, or to the son himself. Unfortunately, in our culture, this has become a taboo, and even if some people kindly do that, some people think that, oh, there must be a problem in this girl or this family, they didn't find no. Why we should create so many obstacles for marriage? I hope this understanding will be established, that if any side, boys side or girl side, if they see there is a possibility of marrying someone is good, they can make the proposal, or they can ask through some other people. We should make marriage easy, not by underestimating the problems and challenges, but any unnecessary complications should be removed. Yes, you should inquire, should investigate to find the akhlaq of this person, commitment of this person. Many things you have to see whether your expectations match or not. But there are things which are not necessary. Some financial arrangements, some cultural arrangements sometimes are not necessary, and Islam does not recognize that. So we should not make it too difficult. Okay, so this person married his daughter to that young person from Ansar, and then فَوَسَّعَ عَلَيْهِ, then his rizq increased and Allah made his life very comfortable. فَأَتَى الشَّابُ إِلَى النَّبِيِّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ فَأَخْبَرَهُ. Then he went to the Prophet happily. Now he was not embarrassed to see the Prophet, because the Prophet had told him to marry, and told the Prophet about the situation. I am married, alhamdulillah, my problem is solved, I have good income. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا معشر الشباب عليكم بالباء. O youths, you must marry. Although he had married, but Rasulullah used this moment to give a general advice to the youths. So if you are able, if it is in your hand and your decision, if with some difficulty you can marry, please do this for your own sake and for the sake of the community, and for the sake of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the section about family life, we already talked about the significance of marriage. Another thing is that we should pay attention to the appearance of youth. So if you have a young child, or someone who is working for you young, be aware of this. We have this beautiful story that Imam Baqir alayhi salam says, Amirul Mu'mineen with his servant Qambar, they went to the market, and Amirul Mu'mineen gave 5 dirhams. He asked the shopkeeper or the seller, I have 5 dirhams, give us 2 pieces of dress. He said, I have 1 dress which is 3 dirhams, another is 2 dirhams. Dirham was silver coin. So Amirul Mu'mineen gave the clothes which was 3 dirhams to his servant Qambar, and he took the cheaper one which was 2 dirhams for himself. Qambar said, Anta awla bihi ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. You should get this one which is more expensive. Tas'adul minbar wa takhtubun nas. You go on the minbar, you give lecture to people. It's better that this one is on you. But Amir al-Mu'mineen said, Ya Qambar, anta shabun wa laka sharahu shab. You are a young person and you have desires of young people. وَأَنَا أَسْتَحْيِي مِنْ رَبِّي أَنْ أَتَفَضَّلَ عَلَيْكَ. And I am embarrassed from my Lord if I prefer myself to you. You should have this one which is more expensive. So it shows that we should consider that the youths have some desires, that these desires many times can be genuine. Sometimes maybe not genuine, but sometimes they are genuine. Like for example, they want to appear better, they want to have good clothes. Not something luxury, not wasting, but anyway, there is a ground for that. Another thing is that when you have a criticism for the youths, maybe your child, for example, has done something wrong, do it in the way that would not put him too much or her into the corner, so that he or she would totally then become angry and question everything. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam says, إِذَا عَاطَبْتَ الْحَدَث فَاتْرُكْ لَهُ مَوْضِعًا مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ لَأَلَّا يَحْمِلْ لَهُ الْإِخْرَاجِ. Or maybe إِحْرَاج, again maybe there's a type mistaken. عَلَى الْمُكَابَرَةِ. If you are blaming a young person, leave a chance. Don't say question him directly, say you made this sin, this is the evidence, and then he would maybe say what is wrong with committing this sin. Say it with question, maybe not. I'm sure sometimes when you may say I'm sure you don't want to do this, even it's better to be indirect many times, unless it has reached the point that he must be given more direct warning. But as much as possible, avoid confrontation, avoid putting that young person in the corner and attack. And finally, they should be encouraged and if needed pushed for education, especially for Islamic education. They should learn enough about their faith. Imam Baqir and Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, both of them have said, لو أتيت بشاب من شباب الشيعة لا يتفقه أدبته. Imam Baqir and Imam Sadiq, both of them said, if a young Shia is brought to me who does not study Islam, does not do tafaqquh in his faith or her faith, la adabtuhu, I would have questioned him and disciplined him. Ta'deeb, I would have disciplined him. It's not that we just encourage. Sometimes we have to also be more direct, question, blame. Anyway, we have to make sure that they study. Inshallah, we hope and pray and work together for helping our youths. They are in a difficult time, And inshallah, with guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they become stronger inshallah than us in faith, in education, in understanding, in responsibilities. And may Allah inshallah bless all our youths and all our elderly members of the community. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.